Darkness and cold soil enveloped me, the only sounds a faint, rhythmic clicking that echoed in the silence. Hunger gnawed at my insides, a relentless ache that refused to fade. My body felt off, small, soft, weak, and I realized I had no hands, no voice, only a mouth that clicked uselessly and trembling legs against the dirt. Suddenly, memories flooded my mind like shards of glass cutting through the darkness, revealing a snow-covered battlefield stained with blood and sorrow. I remembered a blade slicing into my back, my knees buckling as blood stained the pristine snow beneath me. A voice called my name, echoing through the silence that swallowed everything afterward. That was how I died, I understood, but now I was alive, though profoundly changed. The earth beneath me was alive with tiny footfalls, like a rainstorm crawling just beneath the ground's surface, awakening new fears. Strange, unfamiliar scents filled the air, messages I somehow instinctively understood. Food, work, brood, danger, queen. The realization hit me with horror and clarity all at once. I wasn't human. I was an ant, a larva helpless and soft-bodied, waiting to be fed or devoured. Then I felt a strange presence stir inside my mind, more like an intrinsic truth than a voice, forcing itself into my consciousness. Evolution system activated. Status: ant larva. Evolution. Points: 0. Objective: survive until first molt. The words appeared in my mind without sound, undeniable and precise, as if carved directly into my bones. I understood them instantly, every word searing into my consciousness. Evolution points. The meaning hit me like a ton of bricks. Each bite of food I consumed, each kill I made, every moment of survival would earn me these points, and gathering enough points was the only way forward. If I did, I could molt, shed this fragile skin, and grow stronger. If I failed, I would remain helpless, vulnerable to something far worse than hunger or darkness. A shadow crept at the entrance of my tiny chamber, forcing me to freeze in terror and curiosity. An adult worker ant, carrying half-digested pulp in her mandibles, leaned in silently, offering the food without hesitation. Instinct took over. I bit, chewed, swallowed, feeling the faint warmth spread through my hollow belly. 1 evolution point was added to my tally, a tiny step toward survival. The molt threshold was 10 evolution points, enough to shed this weak skin and emerge anew. Just a small bite, a spark of hope, ignited inside me, promising a chance at something better. Suddenly the ceiling trembled. This was no gentle patter of ant feet, but something much heavier, much deeper, more ominous. The wall split open with a violent crunch, soil pouring into my chamber as a glossy armored leg forced its way through. Another leg followed, then another, the form of a horrifying centipede slithering into my world, dozens of legs scraping and scuttling. Its curved mandibles dripped venom, shimmering in the dim light, while it hissed a vibration that sent terror coursing through my tiny body. The workers rushed to confront the monster, forming a fearless wall of ant bodies standing between it and our safe space. The centipede struck with brutal force, shredding ants instantly, flinging their broken shells like discarded toys. The tunnel filled with the metallic stench of blood as helplessness overwhelmed me. Just a larva, powerless and insignificant. Yet I remembered past lives, times when weakness had killed me, and I refused to succumb again. I looked up desperately. The soil above my chamber was freshly dug, loose and fragile, waiting for the slightest blow. If the centipede lunged here, the ceiling would collapse. Buried under dirt, I might be crushed or worse. Wriggling forward with all my might, I radiated helplessness, but a faint glimmer of hope flickered inside. The centipede's antennae flicked toward me, tasting my presence, its hiss turning into a coiled threat. It lunged in a motion that shattered the fragile ceiling, dirt and stones cascading in an avalanche to trap it. The collapse buried its midsection, pinning the monster to the ground as the workers swarmed its exposed body. Mandibles tore into the soft gaps of its armor, feasting on the creature's flesh as I lunged again, driven by instinct. My jaws clamped onto an opening in its plates, metallic blood flooding my mouth, fueling my desperate attack. 3 evolution points spilled into my score as I fed on the defeated predator, feeling my strength surge. My total evolution points rose to 6 out of 10, urging me to continue if I wanted to shed this fragile form. I bit again, my weak mandibles barely piercing, but enough to cause the blood to spill and adrenaline to spike. The centipede writhed and shrieked, venom splattering against the tunnel walls as ants around it were crushed under its thrashing legs. Still the collapse held firm. restraining the horror beneath the pile of dirt and broken bodies. Eventually, the beast shuddered, its body going still, defeated at last under the weight of my small, fierce assault. Victory granted me 5 more evolution points, bringing my total to 11, surpassing the threshold for my first molt. A fiery sensation tore through me, and my skin split open as the old shell peeled away, revealing a new, hardened exterior. My mandibles now gleamed heavier and sharper, stronger than before, ready to carve and conquer. My limbs steadied with renewed confidence, and my senses sharpened in anticipation of the next challenge. Faced with a choice, I now had options for my evolution, the next step in becoming something far greater. The ant workers calmed. They harvested the kill, dragging pieces deeper into the nest. Panic faded. For the first time since awakening, I thought I might survive. Then the air shifted. Threads brushed the tunnel. Thin, sticky, strong. A shadow lowered from the crack above. 8 eyes gleamed faintly in the dim glow of fungus. Hooked fangs dripped venom. The juvenile spider we had fought before was only a scout. This was the Matron of Webs, system alert. Predator detected. Matron of Webs, trait, venom surge. Her legs pressed against her silk, stretching it taut as she descended. The tunnel filled with her poison-sweet scent. I flexed my new mandibles. I had been prey once. Never again. The matron lunged. The tunnel filled with silk, fangs, and death rushing down.